take your word for it.
Okay. Cross your fingers.
Oh,
Hope
yeah,
for the
looks like we're
best.
good. Yep. With a good Rabid Kong picture, I see.
Yep, that's the one.
Very
He's
good.
really hungry.
Did you ever finish that game? Did you ever
Nope.
play that game?
Yep.
Okay. That game's good. That Donkey Kong DLC, also very good.
I'm glad to hear the DLC was good. I never got a chance to even like think about that. I only got through the first world of that game, and that was it.
That game gets so good. I highly recommend it.
I have so much to play through already. I'm so far behind on things, and I
Oh,
have
for
no
sure.
time to do it right now either, which sucks.
For sure. What you been up to the last week, John?
Taxes.
Still?
Taxes.
That was last week.
Well, no, taxes, and also we're getting ready to sell our house.
Whoa. Why is that?
Yeah, because we're looking to get a new house.
Oh, man. Crazy. What's
So,
wrong with your house?
Kind of sized out of it.
So you're getting a bigger house?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we're also in a townhouse so now, so it'd be nice to have an actual detached unit.
Okay.
So that's mainly the thing we're working on right now is just looking into that. We got a meeting with the realtor tomorrow to see what they think about the house, and I'll start looking at properties and stuff like that. So,
Did you have a mortgage still, or did you own your house?
yeah, I have a mortgage.
Okay.
I wish I had this house sold off. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
That'll
like my
never
mom
be the
didn't
case.
sell off her house till like last year, and she's old, so that takes a long time. I understand.
I mean, we're just gonna move the mortgage over is the idea. So we're still gonna whatever the sale from this will go towards that, and then everything else should hopefully be okay. We'll find out.
Do you already have some houses to look at or anything, or is it super new?
We've looked at a couple already, but
Oh man,
nothing.
same area, moving around Calgary. Is it still in Calgary?
It'll still be in Calgary, yeah.
Okay, but like
Seeing
far
where we
away
can
from
go.
where you're currently at.
Potentially, or maybe a bit closer to like the airport, which we use a lot. So that would help.
Okay, all right, sure,
We'll just see where things take us.
nice. Well, have fun. That sounds like a headache.
It is, especially considering we leave for PAX in a week.
PAX East, right?
Yep, and we're
Yeah.
leaving early too. We leave on not this Sunday, but the next.
When is PAX East?
2 weeks from today, so it's the 28th to the 31st.
So you'll be there for like 4 days before the show?
We're actually going to go visit Reese's family. That's usually what we do before PAX. So we'll go visit her family for a couple days, and then we'll take the train into Boston.
Where's her family at?
Connecticut, I believe. So in
Okay.
the States, not too far away.
I knew the States part. I just didn't know where in relation to Boston.
Yeah,
That's
not
cool.
Too far away.
I bet it's cold there right now.
Probably about the same as here. Right now we're in a bit of a heat wave. It's +4, so.
Okay, yeah, we're just starting to get warm again. So my last whole week was great because my mom was here. So just a lot of real good home cooked dinners, having tons of
Nice.
leftovers in the fridge.
Nice.
She like cleaned my whole apartment. She also redecorated my whole room. Just mom stuff, right?
Man, I don't even know if I would let my mom do any of that stuff. So.
Well, she comes in and she's like, "Why is there dust everywhere? Why is your bed frame broken? There's too much light. You need curtains. How do you not own a stepladder? Just all these things."
Those are very much mom responses, to be fair. You are correct.
Yes, and then she proceeded to drill in drapes and buy and help me to build a bed frame and getting me a
Amazing.
stepladder and
Amazing.
just basically redecorated my room. You can't tell from the camera angle, but like that whole half looks significantly different. I don't have doors on my closet anymore because we were running out of space and I needed more, so I had to get rid of the doors in the closet. But anyways, the reason I got to this is it's been real cold, but it's gonna hit like over 20 this weekend.
Ooh.
I can
fancy.
hear the shorts. They're coming out of the closet. I can't wait. This winter has been long.
They're just flying at me, attacking me. They're just getting
Yep.
ready to go.
I'm excited.
Already at the
for
door.
Sure. Oh yeah, Paul's not here. He's like under the weather or something at the moment.
He's still falling on that bomb, just like in that picture. He's waving his cowboy hat over his normal hat.
Sure.
I got the old picture back up there.
Yep. but he should be back next week, I think, as far as I know. So we'll see him then.
Other than that, this is the top-down perspective. Today is March 14th, 2019. I'm John Wheeler.
I'm Sean Booker.
Paul's not here. We just established that.
Exactly.
The 5 seconds in between didn't change things.
All right. Well, let's talk about what you've been playing, John.
All right. So I've been busy with a lot of personal stuff, so I have not really had much time for gaming, but I did start playing Devil May Cry 5.
I really want to play this. This has been in the office for like 2 weeks, and it looks so good.
It was fun from what I've played so far. It is very much Devil May Cry.
So how far in are you?
I'm 3 stages in.
Okay. Yeah. You know, stuff gets in the way, man.
You just haven't had a chance.
I'm in a similar boat because anytime I had like free time, the last thing I wanted to do was like ask my mom, "Hey, is it okay if I ignore you and play video games?" Like that's not going to happen. So I played like a game this week, for maybe a couple hours at most when she was like went to bed before me. But anyway, yeah, Devil May Cry.
I like it. It feels a lot like 4, which I was good with. Some people might not like that, but it's still very tongue-in-cheek, very stupid, over the top. So it's got my vote.
Did you get the like special edition?
I did get the deluxe edition, which has the best DLC I've ever seen.
Right. This is what I was gonna ask about.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, in the deluxe edition, you get a couple extra like weapons for your characters, like or different versions of some of the weapons you get, but you also get live action cutscenes of the in-game cutscenes. They're the pre-production scenes they did so they could model out everything correctly, and they are a treat. They are amazing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, who cares about the in-game swords and whatnot? It's these cutscenes that are like the real stars. Do you know if for sure these are ones they actually used, or if they did this kind of after the fact? I know it looks like it would have been like like something you could like base animation off of, but I just haven't seen anything definitive saying that or not.
I'm pretty sure they are, considering like some of the scenes have different music in them. So there's like they wouldn't be finalized, and like some things are missing.
Okay.
But then they also use like the action figures to like show off how the modeling would be, and like they add on things to like the costumed characters.
Right. Yeah. No, I've definitely like seen like the trailer, and I guess I've seen some actual cutscenes of it too, just in the office. V is really great for those cutscenes because of his animal,
his bird friend, who is literally just a dude flapping his arms the entire time. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. And a guy pretending to be like a tiger or whatever it is, just on the floor. Yeah, they're pretty great. I want to play Devil May Cry 5. I'm curious if I should play through it with those on, or if that's something you should like save for the second run. But then again, I don't really play games twice. I don't know. It's a weird like. How much am I gonna miss? How much do you miss?
I mean, well, here's the thing. First off, you got to read subtitles if you do that, because the cutscenes are Japanese only.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you do get the actual plot. It's just you just don't get all the fancy graphics.
Okay.
I forget if they have done every cutscene. I think not all of them are done like that. But
I think I heard not all of them now.
Yeah. What else would you miss out on? Not sure on that, honestly. Are
you playing? What are you playing with that on?
I'm playing with normal cutscenes because I want the actual story first, and then. So here's the thing: there's a mode in the game that was in 4 that I loved. It's called Heaven or Hell. It basically is a version of the game where everything dies in one hit, including yourself. So you just run around firing your gun and nothing will ever kill you. And you can just speed run through the game in about an hour. That's how it was in 4. So if 5 seems to have the same mode based on the achievements, so you could theoretically beat the game on normal or hard or whatever you're playing on, unlock that difficulty, and then turn on the alternate cutscenes so you don't miss anything.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Or like straight up, you don't even need to do that, because when you unlock the cutscenes by your normal playthrough, it shows up with the alternate cutscenes in the cutscene viewer.
So you can just go watch them, yeah.
You can just go watch them, yeah.
Sure. Well, that's good to know.
Whichever you want to do, yeah.
I could also just watch them on YouTube, probably.
Also, probably that. I thought it was so weird at first though, because I typed in the code for the deluxe edition DLC and it said it was like 7 gigs. Like, what the hell is in this?
Right.
And
yeah,
then I saw the cutscenes. I was like, okay, that's the answer.
They're really great though. Again, Capcom put out like or I guess not Capcom, maybe the Devil May Cry account. They put out a trailer all about these cutscenes, so I would go look those up if you have some interest in this, because they are pretty funny.
Yep.
I didn't play 4 or 2. Should I play 5?
You can play 5 without having played the other ones. There's even like an option on the title screen for a recap of the story.
Okay.
So you don't really need to worry about much.
Yeah, I think I want to play 5 without having to go back.
Yeah, I think you're safe to do that.
I wish they had done DMC too.
That's.
I don't think that's ever gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Theory. I don't think it can happen because Ninja Theory is owned now by Microsoft.
Sure. Yeah. No, you're right. Well, it depends who. Well, no, because I bet Capcom kept the IP, right? Because they're obviously making a Devil May Cry game.
Yeah.
So they could just make a DMC too, but it might not be exactly the same because it's a different developer, right?
I don't know.
But I doubt it, because I think this one's selling pretty well, and it's definitely being regarded really well, so they'll probably just stick with this.
I think this is on its way to setting records for the franchise. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it too much, but I've heard good things.
I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like everything Capcom puts out these days just sets a record for not only that series, but like their company's history. What with like Monster Hunter and Resident Evil 2, and I guess even Resident Evil 7 by a bit of a stretch. So they're just on like an upswing right now.
I mean, that's good for them. I'm glad they're one of the few companies I feel like they kind of go back and forth being like a terrible company and then being a good company. I'm glad they're on the good swing right now.
Sure, yeah.
Yep. Other than that, I played a little bit of like some old Sega Genesis games in that Sega Genesis collection.
Okay.
I was out for a bit, and I'm like, all right, I need something to play. What's fast? Oh, some Genesis games. So I played like Streets of Rage 1 and 3 for a bit.
Right.
I think 3 was what I talked about last week, so I played Streets of Rage 1 the other day. That's still just a hard game. And I played a bit of the game we'll be talking about this month for Patreon, which is Ape Out, which is real good.
Right, yes. Looking forward to talking about that for sure.
Otherwise, that's all I've played.
All right, yeah. So I'm in a similar boat again. Like I said, I've been pretty busy, but I've been playing, Anthem's in the background a bit, still kind of chucking along with Anthem. Which continues to be on fire at all times. I will say though,
has it improved?
They've improved a few things. So like last week, I think after the podcast, there was like an 8 gig patch, and now you can quick load into a mission from anywhere you want in the hub world. You don't have to run back to your suit. Nice.
Good that a feature that should have been there in the first place is there now.
Yeah, I understand they like broke some of the loot again for people at high levels. And then the one evening I did play Anthem, I played through the whole mission, beat the final boss, and then the like end of the mission didn't trigger.
Oh.
So I had to do the whole mission again.
That's a treat.
Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, there's your weekly Anthem check-in. Primarily I've been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I will say that game's writing is terrible.
Mm. The
characters are awful. Laura just sucks from like the get-go. She's almost seems like the bad guy, because the plot of this game is, she's raiding a tomb or whatever, and she comes across like an ancient knife, and she takes it, and then it starts like the apocalypse because she takes it.
Nice. Good job, Laura.
And at no point does she think, oh, we should go back in that cave and put it back. She's just like, no, we got to keep going to the next thing. Even though, because what literally happens, this is like the first, like, I don't know, half an hour of the game. You take the knife, then the small little village you're in, a tsunami destroys it, and you kill hundreds of people.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So there is, I don't even understand, like, why do I like or care about this character whatsoever?
Just on a murder spree. You just want to care about how much she can kill.
I guess so. It's so weird because this rebooted trilogy started with her like having to come to terms with killing a deer in that first game. She had to like, become one with nature or whatever and have a dark side. Like it was this big thing. Now it does not matter. She will kill anyone as long as it gets her some kind of trinket, some kind of ancient trinket. Also, the I don't know if these were like added in later on for like free or whatever, because the game came out in like September or whatever it was. But there's a whole bunch of costumes I just have access to, including one with a huge horned skull on her head that she just wears, which that's the one I'm wearing because it's ridiculous. Also, the Tomb Raider 1 look. You can just look like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider 1. Nice. If she was like, I guess if she was higher resolution. And then you have Tomb Raider 2 if you want like all the jagged lines and stuff as well, which those are fun. I played with those for a little bit, but her face doesn't emote for obvious reasons. So I felt like I was missing out on something in the cutscenes.
So you gave her a giant skull instead?
So I went to the giant skull, and that's pretty funny because she'll just be like talking to people like normal, but she's in like a weird like bear suit almost. And yeah, I don't really know this. Anyway, the story sucks, but what I do really like is it's just really fun to run around that world in the jungle and come across like collectibles. There's a lot of tombs, a lot of caves to come across, and the map does a really good job of saying like whether or not you've found everything in that specific area. Like it'll be bright white if it's like there's stuff in there, and then you can go in there and search around, and then once you found it all, it'll like fade off and gray away, and then okay, I can move on to the next thing. So it's really nice in terms of just traversing that place and being kind of a Metroidvania game. The combat is pretty much whatever. I don't really care about that. I just kind of like exploring the world. And this game does something really interesting that I'm surprised no one talked about, or at least I didn't hear anyone talk about it. You can change the difficulty on like 3 different aspects of the game. So you can change the combat's difficulty out, like divorced from changing the exploration. I think the exploration, and I think the third one is like the puzzles. You can change those to all what you want. So if you don't care about the combat, you could just like lower that. And if you really want like the mind puzzles, you could like increase that or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm playing on just normal on all 3, but that's definitely really cool that they allow you to do that, and the game can actually function in that way, that they they coded that or whatever. So that's a cool feature. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So let's do a bunch of news.
All right. Wow, we got a wall of it too. All right.
Yep. Some stuff happened. I guess kind of in reverse chronological order. We had talked over the last few months about everyone suing Fortnite because of their dances. It sounds like a lot of those have been like temporarily dropped. I guess a lot of the courts have basically said, you can't copyright a dance move. So everyone who was trying to sue Fortnite has like stopped had their court cases like thrown out or pushed to the side or whatever. And it sounds like they're going to try again. I would assume so, because everyone just kind of says it's been dropped temporarily. But just kind of keeping on with that. Who knows? Your floss is still in Fortnite as far as I'm concerned. It's not in Forza Horizon 4. I know that. They took it out.
I'm glad my car can't floss. That'd be weird.
This was probably the strangest news story of the week.
Oh, this one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the game Judgement from the
Yakuza
devs. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's their name.
Oh, frick! It's based on the name of the actual series, basically, like Ryuga Gokuto or something like that, or Gokuto no Studio. Either way, it's Sega.
Yeah, so Sega's the main part. Sega's the publisher, and they have. So I guess Judgement is out in Japan. That must be the case. They have halted
be out here in like 2 or 3 months.
Right, it's going through localization here. They have halted the sale of Judgement in Japan because one of the voice actors, his name is Pierre Taki, who voices Kyohei
Hamura.
There you go. Was arrested for alleged illegal drug use. So they have halted the sale of that, which I can only imagine is making the localization people extremely confused and not sure what to do.
Yeah, so drug use in Japan is super severe, so that dude's basically ostracized from acting and probably will never get a job again.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, so they're going to be removing him and his likeness completely from the game, and they're going to be swapping him with someone else through a patch since the game's already out there. But obviously that's screwing up our localization because now what are they supposed to do? Because they're going to change the game. So we don't know if the game's going to get delayed yet from its initial release, which I think was June for us.
I don't know. This article does not mention it.
Yeah. There's going to be a wait on that. Also, interestingly enough, this dude was also the voice of Olaf in Frozen and
in Kingdom Hearts 3. Not in the movie.
No, it says here, Frozen 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it. I didn't. So the upcoming
Olaf's
Frozen
Japanese
2. Okay.
voice, yeah.
So apparently, Square Enix has decided to change the voice of Olaf in Kingdom Hearts 3 in a future update. So he's going to get replaced there as well, this sounds insane. I have never heard of this happening.
This is like the second or third time this happened with Yakuza games alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of this before. Okay.
Yakuza 4 apparently had an infamous one as well, where they had to remove an actor.
Oh, I think this article actually talked about that near the bottom.
Yeah, last year actor Hiroki Narayama was replaced in Yakuza 4 due to his own cocaine allegations. Japan has a draconian view of illegal drugs in 2014 when pop star Asuka of the wildly popular duo... Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the company stopped selling the group's music. Walt Disney removed one of the group's songs from a Blu-ray box set of Miyazaki work, etc., etc. Like, you're just super ostracized.
That's crazy. I guess... So, like, don't update your copies of Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's about to become super rare.
Only if you don't like Japanese. Only if you use the Japanese audio.
Right, yeah. It's just weird from, like, an archivist standpoint of, like, at one point this game switched and it was a different version of that game, and maybe the next voice actor is not as good. I mean, this guy must have been pretty good if he was getting contracts with Disney.
Yeah, it says like he was also Japanese Olaf voice in Frozen 1 as well, so.
All right, yeah. So that's a weird story that's happening, and I'm curious to see how that continues for sure. Microsoft today announced Xbox Live is coming to mobile, which I believe we heard rumors of recently, along with the Switch. They did not mention anything to do with the Switch today.
Not surprised.
Again, I'm still curious why this is making headlines since we've had iOS apps already with access to Xbox Live. But I guess the more of the story here is they're making it easier for like anyone who wants to tap into Xbox Live, and it doesn't have to be like maybe the other ones were like Microsoft funded games. I can't remember what they were. Wordament was one, and I don't remember the other.
Yeah, like this has to go also with them making a bigger push on PC as well. One of the things... Oh, no, that's listed there later. We'll talk about that later then.
Right. Yeah, no, this is just Xbox Live is going to be coming to more mobile platforms. They're basically opening up their SDK for any developers to want to include it, meaning we're probably going to see a lot more games with achievements, which, hey, sounds good to me. I'll just get some achievements I can play on my phone. Why not? Yeah. I think they even said like, hey, we'd be open to putting Xbox Live on other platforms, even PS4 if Sony wants to allow that, which is never going to happen. That'll never happen. It's crazy enough to think that this might actually come to the Switch.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next? I didn't actually read much of this one.
I haven't heard this one either.
Yeah, I gotta look into it. This is the first time I really looked into it. So it sounds like the internet browser Chrome is getting Switch Joy-Con support
and Pro controller support
and Switch Pro controller support, which is interesting. It'll all connect through like Bluetooth or USB, I guess, for the charging aspect of it. That makes sense. Not a huge surprise since Chrome has been testing out their like game streaming with things like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I guess why not support as many controllers as you can?
Yeah.
This kind of goes a little hand in hand with Google having announced they are doing a keynote at GDC next week that kind of has everyone's attention on it of what they could be announcing or what they're going to talk about, if they're going to be making a real play at video games or what.
Well, I thought they've already said, like, yeah, they're announcing a video game system.
I do not believe they've said that because I have not heard that. And
they announced something of some sort.
Well, yeah, while you're looking, yeah, like I was saying, what I had heard was just that they have a keynote speak on Tuesday, I think at 10 in the morning at GDC, which is next week. And I thought it was just about like game streaming for the most part, since that seems to be their play. We did have that like leaked controller that ended up being fake.
Oh, that
in
the
the last
controller
week
was confirmed to be fake? Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it in the list, because it turned out to be fake.
That would be why.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions going on with Google and gaming right now, which I guess we'll find out next week, and we'll talk about on the show next week.
Cool.
Super interesting. See what happens there.
All right, next up, Inside Xbox event. Xbox held a big conference this week, showing off a couple cool things.
I don't know if it was that big, but it was another one of their like live streams. Like, you know, they're trying to capture the Nintendo Direct hype. This has been their second one they've done. I don't think it captures any of the Nintendo Direct hype. These are usually pretty boring in terms of what they choose to mention. But kind of just go down the list of what they talked about. Minecraft is coming to Game Pass, which, okay, that makes sense. The big one was kind of the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC.
Yep.
Which I guess people have been wanting. I don't know. I don't really.
A lot of people have been wanting that.
Keep an eye on the Master Chief Collection. It's crazy that that game is still kind of going. Considering
they patched it a bunch, considering when it came out, like it kind of got chastised a bunch.
Yeah, no, that game came out pretty broken, and they've just been working on it ever since. That thing must have came out like 5 years ago. They're also adding Halo Reach to Master Chief Collection, so there's another free Halo game for you.
The PC rollout's going to be weird. It's going to be one game at a time, like probably months apart, it's looking like, but it should at least be out sometime this year. That's right. It was one game at a time. I don't even know if they mentioned what was going to be like the first few and stuff. And this article does not mention it. Thought it might have been Reach, but I'm not sure. Everything else was pretty boring. They talked about a new Xbox controller, some new stuff coming to State of K2, something about spatial sound coming to your Xbox, where even if you're listening or watching media that wasn't mixed to have surround sound, the Xbox will just make it happen, which sounds like wizardry. So that's pretty cool for them. They looked at the Project X Cloud a bit, in terms of like showing Forza Horizon 4 running on a phone. Obviously, it wasn't like a real world test case. They probably had like the best internet setup there possible. Yeah. But they said this is still ways off. We'll be talking more about it later this year. But that is definitely cool if that could actually happen. Showed some DayZ stuff. You know, stuff that some people care about. I don't. Speaking of stuff that some people care about but others don't, Borderlands 3 has been teased by Gearbox. Right. They didn't even really say Borderlands 3. It just kind of seems like it's going to be Borderlands 3. They basically posted a picture on their Twitter and said March 28th on it, and it looks like a billboard in like a deserty area, and it's stylized like the Borderlands. It's the same font that they use for Borderlands and et cetera, and it says Exit 3. Oh, does it say Exit 3? I didn't see that one. It does say Exit 3, March 28th, Boston. So PAX East, essentially, is they're going to announce it. Usually they do a pretty big panel at PAX, so. Okay, sure. I hope it is 3, and it's not just like, we're Handsome Collection VR now. Here we go. They also teased some other stuff on their Twitter recently. I'm trying to find those pictures now. This is news to me. Yeah, they teased two things that I saw. One was a blurry picture of Borderlands 1 or 2, and the other one was like a robot torso with cords going into it that I don't recognize, but almost reminds me of something well, it's not BioShock-ish. I was gonna say, is it Claptrap? No, it's not Claptrap. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, no, at the very least, March 20th, we're getting some Borderlands related announcement. More than likely Borderlands 3.
Was this the Gearbox Twitter account?
Yes.
Why isn't my website loading? Why is none of my stuff loading? Okay. This looks like... Oh, I see the blurry picture.
All right, for those who are looking on the recording, here, I'll just pop it up here so you can see it a bit better. I'll cover up my face. There you go. This was the blurry picture they put out for...
I can't tell if that's 1 or 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's... I forget the name of the character. It's the Siren from 2, either way. And this picture here is the one I can't seem to place, yeah. This one here of the robot just sitting in the chair.
Yeah, this looks like... The colors of the robot make me think it's like a more humanoid-looking Claptrap. Because Claptrap's pretty orange. Oh, it does say Exit 3. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to go. I'm down for more proper Borderlands. That'll be cool.
Yeah, no, I'm ready for some Borderlands 3. That would get me very excited. It's been long enough. I still never played the pre-sequel, and I always want to try and find time to get back to that. But yeah, we'll find out soon. We also got a bit of an update on Control from Remedy, the developers behind Alan Wake. They said it's going to launch this summer, which sounds great. That's another game I would excited to play from a developer I really like. I believe they showed off some kind of showcase about all the abilities.
Yeah. Is this the one that they showed at the PlayStation Expo or like E3?
I believe this was shown at E3. It wouldn't have been at PlayStation because PlayStation just did those 4 games. Remember?
No, they had a couple small trailers because like they showed Rick and Morty off there. Or the Rick and Morty
you're right. Kind of in between. Yeah. I don't remember if this was an in-between game for them or where this popped up. But actually, it might have been because I think we only ever saw a trailer for this. But it looks like Game Informer has some more video on it and a big long write-up with all like kind of the superpowers you got. I'm just ready for some more Remedy games, man. I enjoy every game they put out for the most part. So bring on the summer.
Oh, right, this next story.
Yeah, this next one's weird. This is Division 2. Ubisoft came out and announced the install sizes. What you'll expect to get. I think this was actually on like their like QA site or something, on their support site. I'll just kind of read this. For Xbox One and PC, if you purchase a physical copy of the game, begin by installing the game. You will then be prompted to download and install Title Update 1. Expect a 48 to 52 gigabyte download, which it's pretty standard for large games these days, I would say.
Still terrible.
Hey, man, games get big. Like, this is why we have terabyte hard drives now.
Wasn't this why we jumped up to this generation so we would have to stop making like 3-disc Xbox 360 games? Could put them all on a Blu-ray?
I guess that was there. Yeah, could put a lot of it on the Blu-ray, but still got to install that Blu-ray to the hard drive, right? For PlayStation 4, begin by installing the disc. Your console will simultaneously download Title Update 1. Expect a 48 to 52 gigabyte download for that. If you purchase the digital copy, expect an 88 to 92 gigabyte download that comprises both the game and the Title Update size 1. The final hard drive install size will be between 88 and 92 gigs. It's almost double.
Where did you
Why?
get it? It says 88 to 92 for PS4 straight up, all of them.
In the middle there, it says if you have a physical one, expect the 48 to 52 for Title Update 1. And then when it starts talking about digital.
No. Are we looking at a different thing?
I'm looking at the news story. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the link from the news story.
Yeah, the second...
If you purchase a physical copy of the game, please begin installing the disc. Provided you are online, your console will simultaneously download Title Update 1 while you install it. Expect an 88 to 92 gig download, depending on your region and preferred language. Whether installed from a disc or downloaded digitally, the final HDD install size will
Were you reading the PlayStation one or the Xbox one?
PlayStation.
From my screen, it looks like you're reading the Xbox one. I'm going to refresh my browser.
Really?
This is what I have under PlayStation 4. If you purchased a physical copy of the game, begin installing from the disc. Provided you are online, your console will simultaneously download the title update 1 while you install it. Expect a 48 to 52 gigabyte download for title update 1. Blah, 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 blah.
Look on the stream right now.
Okay.
I got 88 to 92 on mine.
That's so weird. It's different on mine.
That makes no sense.
Different. Yeah, it's literally different on mine.
You're a wizard.
I think I can share my screen.
Either way, this is really stupid. Like that, the file size goes.
Is it sharing my screen
gigs.
on? Is it sharing
No,
my screen
no.
on the stream?
No, it's not.
Okay. Wait, hang on. Oh wait, I don't know, man. Is it doing it?
Well, you just got rid of both of our cameras by doing that.
I didn't do anything. Oh god. Stop sharing.
No, you're very. Oh no, you've screwed everything up. Okay.
Oh god.
Yeah. Fixed. We're back.
Stop
Skype's
sharing.
a good product.
I don't know.
Podcast brought to you by Skype.
Yep.
Program of the ages. Everyone loves it.
Skype. All right, so this is super weird. I'm gonna maybe I'll try like the cache refresh. No, it's 4852. Anyway, it says the final hard drive install will be 88 to 92. The story here, and what
That's
I'm
fucking
curious
stupid.
about, why is the PlayStation 1 different? I don't care if they're big, like I have the hard drive space. Why are they different? And what's even confusing me more is you would think the Xbox one would be bigger because it's the more powerful console.
Yeah.
They would be pumping more into it. You know, more resolution, more Ps or whatever. But the PlayStation one is bigger.
I don't know, dude. The whole thing is weird. I hate the fact that we're at a point in this era of gaming where that's even a thing. Like, people are literally not going to be able to download that on the first day. Like, you're going to have to wait days to play the game.
Oh, because of how long, you mean?
Yeah. Like, imagine if you were told, yeah, you got to download 100 gigs right now.
That would not take me that long. I have gigabit internet.
Okay, for you, it'd be fine then.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, it would take a while.
Would it take you days, or would it take you, like, maybe 2 hours?
It would take, it would take a couple hours. You're right.
Okay.
But, like, that's still, like, I have, like, internet set up for, like, doing streaming. That's not going to be the same for most players that are going to play this kind of game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the future, though, right? Like, is that a problem for Ubisoft, or is that a problem for, like, internet service providers?
I really think they should have just made a second disc, so if anyone bought the physical, you'd have, like, at least just the 40 patch.
Like an install disc? Well, isn't that what the main disc is an install disc at this point?
At this point, I guess, yeah. Yeah, like, in the chat, they're saying, like, some people have monthly internet limits. Like, I can't download more than 50 gigs per month, meaning I got to download this game over 2 months.
Right, yeah, having caps.
And probably by the time they get the rest of it done in the next month, there's going to be more patches that'll take up all that space. Like, I have a cap, too, of, like, a terabyte. That game would be, if I bought digital, would be 1/10 of my internet bandwidth, period, which is crazy.
On PlayStation, yeah.
On PlayStation. But, yeah, like, still, though, that's too much. Like, didn't Red Dead have a similar problem? How big was the patch for Red Dead?
I don't remember. It didn't have a similar problem of, like, different sizes, but I think Red Dead was close to 100 gigs when you downloaded it. It was somewhere around 70 to 100. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And some people, yeah, you're right, who live in places where the internet sucks, just can't get this game. But, you know, I'm sure Ubisoft, there's probably like a chart on a whiteboard that says, like, and there's a line graph here that's like, you know, we can make it look better, which will sell more, but we won't sell to, like, this whole fraction. And there's a part where the dollar signs just make sense for them. You know what I mean? Mm. It is nice to see when some games update to have smaller install sizes. I've seen that over the last few months, where they just, like, keep compressing it somehow, and that's cool. I guess that doesn't solve the issue of, well, you still have to download it at the large size at one point in your life. So that does kind of suck. But yeah, I can't really think of a good way to get around the cap part, because I know a lot of marketplaces will let you install or preload these big updates, and then it's just basically like an unlock that happens when the game launches. And that part's nice, because then you're not waiting around. It downloaded like a week ago.
Yeah.
But the cap thing is still an issue for sure.
And they're probably not going to put game patch title update 1 patch out till either the day before or the actual day.
Right.
They're going to take as long as they can to make sure that passes through like quality assurance.
And well, it depends how on fire the game is. Because the next point I was going to bring is, if the game does launch broken, like we saw with Anthem, they're going to push up another major patch as fast as we can, or as fast as they can. So not only are you having to download the game, now you're getting like a 6 gigabyte download 2 days later. And again, sticking with Anthem's case, another 6 gig one a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it is. Like, that's a lot of downloading. I don't envy people with caps. I don't even know what my cap is. Knock on wood, I don't hit it. But yeah, I would love to find out why those are different sizes. If anyone does come across the reason why, send it into the email, topdownperspective@gmail.com. I'd be very curious. Last bit of news here: Octopath Traveler is getting a prequel on mobile. Apparently, the Octopath team is also working on a console project as well. It's going to be just a mobile version. There's a Japanese trailer out there right now. Looks like it's going to have kind of the same art style, basically. Obviously, takes place beforehand. That sounds cool. I'd be interested to check that out. I'm curious how much they'll charge for it, since Square Enix is like the only developer that charges like actual game prices for stuff on mobile, as opposed to like the mobile discount that everyone else has to seem to play by.
I mean, it depends on how much of a game this is too.
Yep, or if it has microtransactions. Who knows what kind of game this is going to be. But if it's just like Octopath Traveler, but for your phone, no microtransactions, and they charge like $20, that's interesting to me. I don't know if I'll pay $20 for it, but that's interesting to me more than a microtransaction game. All right, that's the news. Let's do some questions.
All right. If you want to send in your questions, send them to topdownperspective@gmail.com, TDP Podcast on Twitter. Go to the Discord, send them in, or you can mail them into my P.O. Box.
Yes, thank you for that. I will read this first one from Waste of Resources. What was the name of that inactive RuneScape podcast you guys used to want to beat? My friend is looking for new podcasts. Good joke. That's pretty funny. I don't remember the name of it.
That's somehow fitting to come from a name, Waste of Resources.
For sure, yep. I don't... Do you remember the name?
No, not off the top of my head.
I don't remember that. That was so long ago. For those who don't know, maybe they didn't listen back in the early days of Top Down Perspective. Nathan came across like some kind of ranking list on iTunes for podcasts, and
I thought it was on Podbean. I couldn't remember which.
Maybe I remembered it as iTunes, but either way, he came across some ranking list, and there was a RuneScape one doing better than us that didn't update anymore, which annoyed him for good reason, because that's insane. And yeah, anyway, it's pretty funny, but I doubt they went 10 years long.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take this next one?
Yeah, Rasterman writes in and says, so since today is Mario Day, which you can tell when this was sent in, that was March 10th, I have 2 questions. Number 1, what sort of game would you like the next Mario game to be for you to be interested in it?
I don't think it's for Mario. I'm pretty sure it's just, what sort of game would you like the next one to be for you to be interested in it? Oh, God.
That is Mario. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be down for an Odyssey 2. I liked what they did with Odyssey 1.
Like Odyssey 2 in the way of...
Galaxy 2, yeah.
Yeah, Galaxy 2, where it's just, not much story, just more levels, basically.
More levels, more challenging. I'd be down.
I would love just some DLC for that game, like just a new kingdom. I'd probably pay like $10 for like one of the large size kingdoms again. That would be good.
Yeah, maybe.
What do I really want from Mario? When was the last side scroller they did?
New Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe.
And then and then just regular U before that?
Yeah, regular Wii U and Wii U Deluxe were the last 2D ones they did.
Yeah, so I guess they're kind of due for a 2D one. And I'd be down for
I guess Mario Maker. I guess they kind of ignored Mario Maker.
Yeah, actually, Mario Maker. Honestly, Mario Maker 2 is what I'm just interested in right now. I just would love to play an unlimited number of Mario levels.
Well, you're in luck because that's what was it, June?
June, yeah, that's
yeah,
June.
Soon.
It was like I think it's like before E3, in fact, or like just afterwards. It's early June, I thought. Yeah, that's gonna be great on the Switch. Man, I'm so excited about that.
Second question: how do you think the industry would be today if Mario Brothers never came out? Different, because that kind of set the standard for platforming. So I feel like we would have gotten there eventually, but it might just be behind a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, someone else would have set the standard, right?
It just would take longer to get there, maybe.
Do you think it would have been Sonic?
Maybe.
Do you think there's a Sonic without Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I could see a lot of the design elements coming from Mario, but then being like, no, turn it up to 11 and put some attitude in there.
What if there was a Sonic game that was actually just Mario Brothers? That was it.
Like it's just like good?
No, like it's just like a Sonic game just played like a Mario game because no other game was like it, and they just came up with the idea.
Okay. At that point, it's not. I mean, is it still going fast? Is the question? Because if it's not a Sonic game. But
I don't know.
I agree, though. I think we'd get where we are. It probably would have taken longer, but something else would just be like the golden staple. And I guess I say Sonic just because Sonic was around at that time. Like, what other platformers was there around at that time that were ripping off Mario?
I mean, there were a lot of games ripping off Mario, like Keith Courage and stuff like that, but then they tried their like weird, bad twists that didn't quite get there. Like, there's so many platformers on like the Genesis and the NES that tried, but the thing is, like, if Mario didn't exist, we probably wouldn't have the NES, which means in North America at least, like the game crash wouldn't have been fixed. So I'm curious actually how long we would have taken for gaming to come back.
That's a good point too.
Because in like Europe and stuff, like they didn't really have the crash, and they kind of kept going with like Commodore 64 and Amiga. So I think if anything, like Amiga platforming games would have become the standard, which would have been interesting.
Okay, sure.
Or even like PC games like Commander Keen and stuff like that. That's being brought up.
Do you think Nintendo would have stopped existing without Mario?
Yeah. Or no, they wouldn't stop existing. They'd just be like a pure toy company instead.
So not video games. They would have stopped video games.
They probably would have stopped video games. Yeah.
Like they would have probably lost against Sega in the console wars.
Yeah.
Or there probably wouldn't even be a war. Like without Mario, what were they? I guess they would have had Zelda.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. Like Donkey Kong is what kind of got them on there in the first place. And then Mario Bros.
Without Mario, can you have Donkey Kong? Because he's one of the characters.
I mean, technically he was Jumpman, so
sure.
Sort of.
Yeah, I would say you still get Donkey Kong. Yeah. I think you're right though with the Amiga stuff.
A lot of what ifs, yeah.
Green Fantastic writes, I'm planning a trip to Florence, Italy for a friend's wedding, and my coworkers said they would love to go there because of Assassin's Creed 2. Have you ever traveled for a vacation alone before? And if so, how was it?
I mean, yeah, that's all right.
Yes. Yeah, I think like as adults, yes, we have.
Yeah, you just kind of get to do whatever you want. It's great.
You have to obviously do more work because you have to plan it as opposed to your parents planning it. And you have to pay for it as opposed to your parents taking you on a trip. Second question. Actually, before we get into that, what was your first trip you went on without your parents? Or alone, I guess.
Okay, so not counting school trips. Probably all the trips I took to, like, for recording for TRG and stuff. Like I went to MagFest by myself and stuff like that.
Okay, I think my first one was PAX West back when it was Prime, and I would have been in.
Actually, no, you're right. That would have been the same for me too. PAX Prime was before we started doing MagFest.
Okay, yeah. So I would have been 18. I just finished high school, and I did my first trip without a parent. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, that was the one that you went with Nathan, right? Like, was that when you were at the store still, or was that after you've left? I forget.
It would have been just after I left because I was heading off to college.
Yeah.
I didn't fly with anyone else, so Nathan was down there though, but I think they drove.
Okay, that's what it was. I wasn't sure if you drove with them or you flew.
I drove with them for the next one I went to, which was 2 years later. But I flew the first one. I think it was like a birthday present. My mom got me the ticket.
Oh, okay.
The plane ticket.
Nice.
Yeah. Second question. Would you ever play a video game to hype yourself for a vacation? Example would be any Yakuza game, for GTA 5 for Los Angeles. This can also include other media if you want.
I mean, we kind of went to Ireland because we wanted to do the Game of Thrones tour, so I guess you could say Game of Thrones is what got us to want to go there.
Okay.
But we didn't specifically watch it to hype ourselves up for the trip.
Yeah, no, I think I'm in the same boat. I don't think I've had a scenario where I was like kind of like preparing with the media, but there's definitely been media that have made me want to go places. I think Japan is just an obvious one. Like, I probably would not have wanted to go to Japan if I didn't have an interest in video games and anime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just obviously like a huge cultural hub for that stuff. I did, however, in relation to Assassin's Creed 2, have a friend who went to Italy in high school, and he was like, "This is just like in the game," blah blah blah. Apparently, I mean, I didn't go either, but he was talking like that. Can you think of any other trips where you were like there was a direct correlation to a game or some media that you consumed?
Nah, not really.
Yeah,
I usually kind of keep them exclusive, to be perfectly honest. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anything where I was even like, oh, I remember that from the game, but like, not really. Like I was thinking like Division 1, and like, yeah, you can see the Statue of Liberty. I mean, I've been there, but like, whatever.
All right, next up from Sukusuku. I was just sitting here listening to some video game music and thinking about how much influence a soundtrack has on a game. I want to say I've never lost interest in a game due to its music, but that would be a lie. Has the soundtrack ever killed an otherwise good game experience for you? Have you ever played a game solely for its music? And has a replacing of a soundtrack due to legal issues ever made you feel like the older version was better? Capcom bumps into that last issue a lot, where they have to keep changing their soundtracks. Like Resident Evil 1's soundtrack has changed like 2 or 3 times.
I did not know that.
There's some other games that they can't sell anymore because of the soundtracks. I think that's the Mega Man Legend games.
I know the Tony Hawk games, when they remastered them, it was a different soundtrack, which that would mess me up quite a bit, because I feel like the soundtrack to those games is part of those games.
Yeah, very much.
I can't think of a game where the soundtrack turned me off. The one thing I can think about is at the end of Wolfenstein 2. Is that the most recent one? No, the new the New Order. The credits music is horrible. It's so bad. I can't. It's an awful cover of. Oh, I'm gonna just fact check this.
We're Not Gonna Take It.
Yes, We're Not Gonna Take It. It's some weird death metal cover of We're Not Gonna Take It, and it's terrible. I'm not saying it ruined the game for me, but like, that's a great game. And then when you like finally finish it, and you're like, yeah, you have to listen to that garbage, and that's just that's annoying as hell. Played a game solely for its music.
I mean, like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, but I feel like that's also cheating.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say solely for the music, but there's definitely games where it's like the soundtrack has been like my favorite part.
Yeah, or what kept you going through the game.
I think Nier falls into this category.
Okay.
That soundtrack is amazing, and really good for that game. And kind of similar to like, not really replacing it, but like if the soundtrack wasn't there, it would definitely kind of spoil the game for me. I think of the Scott Pilgrim game. If that didn't have that Onomonoguchi soundtrack, I don't like that would definitely not sit right with me. And again, I mentioned the Tony Hawk ones.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's a lot of games that just kind of kept me going through with soundtrack, like stuff like that. There's a lot of old games where like the gameplay will be bad, but the music will be good, or like alternatively, like it could be great gameplay, but the music sucks. So it's just like can't take much more of this. Like it can wear you down faster than the other can.
I think Splatoon's another good example of the soundtrack, like being in part of that game in such a good way. Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
there's another one. Yeah. All right. VGC Kenny writes, what game has the appearance of a game that you might not like, but you actually like a whole lot? Okay, so it's a game that you like a lot, but like on face value, it doesn't look like it. I'm trying to think like what games I don't like, and it's like sports games.
I could say like I like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz despite not really being a sports guy.
Okay, sure. Like the Dynasty Warrior style games, but none of those I like, so that does I don't know if I have a good answer for this. What's a game? It would have to be like a military shooter that I actually was into. I guess maybe Apex, because it's Battle Royale, I could kind of say. Because I don't like Battle Royales for the most part, but Apex is working well for me. So yeah, that's one. I don't know, you got anything else?
Sure. That's all I really got. Stuff like
all right. Last one comes from Kevin. This is a good question. I like this one. What sort of mature content is acceptable to be viewed on public transportation? Be as specific as possible and suggest an alternative if you have one. Currently, I turn the tablet away from other people when a questionable scene comes up, but it's rather uncomfortable. I get in this scenario often. Having to ride the train. Yeah, like I'll be watching like Netflix or something on my phone, and I don't know, like a boob or something will show up because I'm watching like something with an adult content. That what do you do? For the most part, yeah, I'm trying to think what. I don't know if I fully turn the camera away, but I'll definitely kind of just like freeze up for a sec, like, oh, no one's watching over my shoulder right now.
Yeah, I can see that, just like tilting it away. I think the actual marker is how much public shame do you have? If you have no public shame, do whatever the fuck you want.
Just be that guy watching porn.
Be that guy. But if you do have public shame, like a normal human being,
just scream, "Don't look at my phone!"
Just tilt it away and just like.
I think you have to tilt it away.
Like presumably you're not using speakers, so no one's gonna hear what the heck you're watching.
Right. I mean, you better not be using speakers, otherwise this is a whole other scenario.
Don't be that person. Actually, don't be that person.
I mean, I guess if you know it's going to happen and it's going to be like a prolonged thing, don't like consume that content on the bus or whatever. Yeah. Like, if you know you're about to play some Phoenix Wright and they're going to make you do the blow the fingerprint dust minigame a whole bunch, don't do that because you don't want to be the guy blowing on his DS on a train. I've been there, man, and it's not a good look.
It is weird to do that. I agree.
Yeah. But I guess for the most part, you don't know it's gonna come. You don't know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. This is assuming you don't know that something weird's gonna show up. Like if you're literally just watching like porn, but you're like, oh, it starts clean, and they'll just tilt it away later. Like maybe don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if bus time for you is porn time, you got some other issues you need to work out. But if it's just a random scene, I think you tilt it, towards your chest or towards the side of the car if you're like sitting down or whatever, and then you hope it doesn't last too long. I don't know, man. I don't think anyone's gonna call you out on it though. Like even if you were watching porn or whatever. or they did see something show up on your screen, no one's going to be like, everyone look at this guy. So, I mean, the worst case scenario is probably nothing happens.
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty much it.
That's going to do it for questions this week. If you want to send in questions for next week, it is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, mine's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I got some Patreon updates for you guys. If you are a $10 backer, the submission thread is going live tomorrow. We've recently hit a new funding goal, so all submissions can now be $20 max. Same for us as well. So we'll get to see some bigger and better games popping up on that list, and that poll will be going live next week, but we'll remind you on the next episode. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.